Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. I hope you are all happy and healthy doing the things you love. It's another day of transfer news madness. We got the views and the clues coming from all over Europe just for you. Before I come over and find out how my boy Jonny H3232 is, I've got to ask you for some favors, guys. Please do us the greatest of favors that you always do, and we absolutely so appreciate it. It's smashing the channel to new levels of wildness every day. Smash the like button for us. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and keep those comments flowing throughout. Let us know where you're from, who you support. And just so you know, if you are interested in Football Inc. related content via Instagram, if that's your thing, you can find us on Instagram.com/@FootballInc. Link is in the description. And also, if you prefer these things on the podcast format, then it's currently on Spotify. By the end of the day, it will also be on Amazon, and very shortly it will be on Apple Pods too. So if that's your get up, your thing, then you can find us there. Loads to talk about today, Jonny. Loads. Never a dull day in the football world. How are you, Bob? Buddy, how are you, Bob?
I love this. Great jinx. What is this? An intro without outrage. How will you get the clicks? Oh dear. Listen, we're hoping to get by on our charm and bullshit. No doubt, yeah. No doubt. Listen, no, all good. Listen, we might have thrown a few of you because we started early. We've started late. We've started on time. So what we thought we'd do, we'd start, 40 seconds early?
Yep. And you get that 40 seconds for free on the provision that you smash the like button.
Yeah, 100%. And moderators, do your job. Drew, Golby, Ray, Marshall, Greek Jinx, Nikos, Michael Watts, Drew. Morning.
Good to see you all, guys. Good to see you all.
Any of you who are coming in now, as I said, smash that like and let's go.
Johnny, we've got the first story out of the day today. It's actually a bit of a double story where we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about this team. It's Chelsea. Woo. No, we're only kidding. We love Chelsea like we love all football clubs. But Chelsea have seemingly managed to get, first of all, Jamie Gittins done. Apparently, at the last minute, the host club was trying to offer him a new contract to stay, but he's chosen Chelsea. He wants to go there. It's pretty much done and dusted. I think Dortmund
7 years, Sean. 7-year contract, mate. I mean,
hope it worked out better than Mikhail Mudryk, eh? But
yeah. You listen. You want to put them on a slave contract? You got to pay the rough with the smooth.
100%.
This one you're going to be playing out for years to come. Tough.
But at the same time, Johnny, now this is one that sort of flew under the radar as an option, which I'm a little bit surprised that you and I didn't maybe speak about this as a speculative concept. But having lost Kepa, they've still got Sanchez as their primary goalkeeper. Maybe not for long, because Manchester United target Emi Martinez has apparently had his head turned and wants to go south towards London and join Chelsea. And that Chelsea are not concerned by the asking price for Aston Villa's goalkeeper. What do you make of that one, mate?
Honestly, first of all, if anyone knows where Chelsea's treasure chest is situated, please can you let us know? Sean and I would like to go down there and locate it, because it seems a never-ending money tree. Yeah, we should have thought about it, but we thought, in all honesty, that Chelsea would go back for Mike Maignan, right? Yeah. Well, which is quite... And
then Martinez was going to go to Saudi, but apparently not anymore.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's quite interesting that they're willing to pay a lot more for Martinez than they refuse to pay for Mike Maignan. So maybe Man United will be forced to come in for Mike Maignan, because they have to get rid of Onana, and the news has been that they want to get rid of Onana on loan because they don't think they're going to sell him. But Martinez makes 100% sense for Chelsea. They've just got rid of Kepa to Arsenal.
It's a lot of money, mate, for a 32-year-old, though, isn't he? So 40 million quid for a 32-year-old is a lot, right?
Chelsea and Aston Villa have done deals before, Sean. Okay, who needs to get out of FFP, Sean? Right, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right. Is he
Maybe
worth
that conspiracy theory, mate? Maybe that conspiracy theory. You know, we were saying the other day how we'd love to get an agent on to explain why it is that transfers take so long, why trades take like all the contracts. Maybe it's nothing to do with the individual player. Maybe the weeks and weeks of negotiations are really figuring out how it is that they can scratch each other's backs in future deals to make sure that if we do this for you now, we'll do that for you later when you get that one. So they're figuring out all of the different dominoes that have to fall in the future.
I mean, listen, he's a very good keeper. He's been voted best keeper. He's won the goalkeeper award, FIFA goalkeeper award, won the award at the World Cup. Fantastic, no doubt and whatsoever. But let's be honest, guys. 45 million is way over the top, even for a keeper of that level. You know,
how many years has he got left in him, do you reckon? A good year.
32, 33, or is he just 32? I think he's 32.
He's 32, 33 in September. So, yeah, not
okay. 33 almost. Listen, goalkeepers can go on for a long time.
3 years?
3 or 4 years, maybe. Listen, Chelsea don't care. Man United would not be paying 45 million. That's for sure. Yeah. Not now, not with what they need to get rid of. So, listen, it's a great deal for Chelsea if they get him and having Sanchez as a backup. And Gittins, I'm a big fan of Gittins, and I think he's going to do very, very well for Chelsea. I just don't understand there's just so many players. I'm just not understanding it. Someone maybe explain to me exactly how many players they have on their books quite just now. And that isn't the only one, is it? Sure.
No. João Pedro's the next one that's coming through the door as well. So they might have the start of this season, they might have João Pedro on the right or on the right, Jamie Gittins on the left, Cole Palmer in the 10, Liam Delap in the 9, Emi Martin. I was thinking about their squad. And then Caicedo and Fernandez in the double pivot.
It's
and then a back four of like, who would the back four be? Cucurella,
Babashvili, what's his name is. They've got
Fofana, Levi Colwill, Reece James.
Yeah, Cucurella.
That's quite.
That's just one selection. They've probably got 3 roles of each. They got, teams dream of having a good player in each position. Top teams have 2 for each position. They've got 3. Yeah, they've got 3.
Makes you wonder, like, how does what was the guy's name? Is it Lavella? Who was the guy who was at Southampton who went for 40 million quid to them? The DM.
Lavia,
that's it. Lavia,
yeah.
I couldn't think of his name.
Another nil, 100 mil. I mean, they spent 300 mil on sixes and played all 3, let me tell you, against Benfica yesterday. Yeah. In a crazy, crazy game of football. I mean,
well, they made another 15 million quid by getting through that round, right? Or was it 10 million pound for getting through the last 16? And now in the quarterfinals, they made 50 million quid already, something 45, 50 million quid already from that tournament. And there's no one in the stadium, mate. Where is them? And it's not like DAZN or Channel 4 or whatever it is. I think it's Channel 5 and DAZN have got shared broadcast rights. Where's the money coming from to pay those sorts of prize monies? It's madness.
What I don't understand is no one was paying for it. No one was interested in broadcasting it. DAZN suddenly came in with £1 billion offer to broadcast it worldwide.
£1 billion, mate.
That's what the rumor was, that it was £1 billion that he paid.
Oh, there you go. That's where it's from then. Fair enough.
Rumor, right?
Yeah.
But where did they get the money from? Then there's news out that Saudis invested, guess how much, to buy a stake in DAZN?
Go on.
£1 billion.
Unbelievable.
We love a conspiracy here. But look, João Pedro is a really good player, but they can't keep Nicholas Jackson and Cuckoo, Delap, João Pedro, and all the other wingers that they have. Surely it's impossible. It's impossible.
I'm going to get their team up. Let's have a look at them. Chelsea transfer market. Let's have a quick look, see, shall we, mate? Get it up on the screen.
They've got Esteval, who's coming in, the Palmeiras kid, who's coming in this summer, who's the number 2, joint best young player in Brazil with Hendrick.
Here we go. Cole Palmer, Caicedo, Fernandez, Colwill. This must be one of the highest valued squads in the game right now.
Well, it's got to be, yeah.
Even Madueke, 40 million. He's not going to. Madueke's got to leave, hasn't he? Surely he has to leave.
Well,
what about Pedro Neto? Is he? I mean, he's still a top draw player.
Of course he is. He's just scored the other day. He plays. He starts. He starts. Delap, Lavia, Cucurella. I mean, and Cucurella.
Look at these centre backs: Vega, Badiashile, Adebayo. Remember Tosin? We were Tottenham fans. We were like, let's get Tosin on a free transfer.
They can't even play. I mean, how much Dewsbury Hall? 20 mil. Just to sit on the bench. They've got loads coming in. They've got loads of kids that they bought up as well from Brazil.
Far too many people. Far too many people. And they've got loads more coming in, haven't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane stuff.
And players out on loan, don't forget, at the moment. So we shall see. Arsenal have tied up the signing now of who is it now?
Oh, he's gone again. He's done it. He's done it again. We're doing it again. Just whilst he's gone, must I say massive thank you to Blaine. Geez, Blaine, mate, you got to save some of that money because we need a new investor. Can you please go and buy Daniel, like some of that stake out of Daniel Levy, mate? Go and put in a decent offer. You might get lucky. But mate, thank you very, very much. And if you guys are a recipient of the super chat, then of the membership, then make sure you say thank you to Blaine. Blaine, you're a legend, mate. You're a delight to know, mate. Thank you very much, buddy. Gonna get you back on the Spurs Talk Show very, very soon. You all right, Johnny? You back, mate? What happened there?
I don't know. I must say, every time I say something controversial, right?
Kick you out.
All I said was DAZN, the Saudi, and next thing I know, I'm gone. Thanks very much for the super chats.
Yeah,
free right side. I am I'm David Blaine. I'm working on a new David Blaine routine where I make managers disappear from the Spurs squad for nothing.
Absolutely madness, mate. Yeah, I think that's back on the Blaine on fire.
Yeah,
that's back on the on the story about Emi Martinez. What was the story you were talking about? Arsenal have completed the signing of who?
Mascara. Is it Mascara?
Oh, they got Mascara at the sun, is it? Mascara's
done
already?
Well, I meant to. I think it's almost done. £20 million.
Wow, that was quick.
They don't mess about. And when they want it, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Really good player. Let's move to this story, mate. Tyler Dibling. So Tottenham, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace, and Liverpool, in fact. Is it on the screen? Let me get it on the screen for us. Tottenham, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Palace are all considering, monitoring, whatever it is, contemplating, preparing to rival Tottenham for a move for Southampton's Tyler Dibling. Look, for me, Tyler Dibling, I've been watching a lot of highlight reels for him, mate. I really, really like the player. I think he's really exciting to watch. He runs at pace. He's happy to sort of shimmy to the left. I don't mind it at all. I really do actually like the player. I know he's not going to be, welcomed by probably the fans of Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe at Newcastle United, because they saw what happened with someone like Anthony Gordon and how quickly he shot up and developed. With that experience, you can maybe go, I'll get on board Tyler Dibling. At Liverpool, maybe they'll just see that as coming in as a rotation, someone to kind of to compete with the amazing talent they've already got. I don't really see him going to Liverpool, to be honest. For Crystal Palace, do you see him coming in to replace? I mean, he's obviously plays more on the right hand side, doesn't he, Tyler? So I don't really know if he wouldn't be the replacement for Eberechi Eze. But who do Palace have on their right wing at the moment?
I just can't. I can't see this. Ismail Sarr. They've got Ismail Sarr on one side. They've got Eze on the other. Yeah, I can't see Palace in for it. Listen, look, I like Tyler Dibling. I tell you what, I don't like his price. Southampton quoting 80 million and 75 million. Come on, get a life. Get a life. It's ridiculous. Kid's got loads to prove. You know, if you want to pay 20, 25 million plus add-ons or a percentage of the sell-on, fantastic. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But the telephone numbers they're quoting, I mean, listen, everyone's chancing their arms now. You know, they're not going to sell Pedro for less than 60 million. That's what it is. Brighton will stand guard. We don't need to sell him. You want it, you pay it. That's it. End of story. The same with Brentford, with what they're doing. You know, Man United are willing to pay, 75 million for Højlund, 70 million for Anthony. This is a Prem-proven player. Pay the money or shut up. And, Brentford are quite within their rights. I think they want 65 plus add-ons, which, this is what Man United have been paying before. So we shall see. But Tyler Dibling, not for me unless the money is down. That's for sure. Harvey Elliott was mentioned in dispatches in a couple of newspaper roundups today. I don't know whether it's just mud rucking to try and mess up someone else's deal, but you got to say hats off to Lee Carsley yesterday for delivering the England under-21 European Championships. Unbelievable performance. Some people are non-fussed by it, but listen, when you consider we've waited 41 years to win it, and we've won it back-to-back, and you think of the fantastic players that come through England or the quality that we've produced, he's done a absolutely fantastic job. And obviously, Elliott was the standout player in that tournament.
Where did he play? Off the right, did he?
Yeah, well, he seemed to be all over the place at times, but he was coming inside. But look, he had a brilliant.
Did you like him at Tottenham?
Look, I'm not going to complain if he came, but I don't think he's our first priority. We'll get onto that anyway. We'll get onto that in a minute. But it was always good to do one over on the Germans. Whenever you win against the Germans, it's a time to celebrate.
Where are your trophies, Germany? Where are your trophies?
Where are your trophies? Let's do more controversy. Okay, this is from Fabrizio Romano, right? I mean, this is a story that Sean and I have loved talking about for quite a long time. John Duran leaves Aston Villa for £72 million, I think it was 75 million pound. And less than a year later, he wants to leave. And they've given the go-ahead, Al Nassr, to go on loan to Fenerbahce. Now, none of that makes sense. None of it. I mean, what are they trying to agree? How does that make sense for anyone? First of all, Fenerbahce will not be able to match the wages that are being paid by the Saudi team. And John Duran, being a top player, why would he go? Why would he go to Saudi, number one? Couldn't understand it when, every time he came on for Aston Villa, he was scoring fantastic goals. And now he's off there. Financially, Sean, do we smell something that doesn't smell right?
Yeah. I just think
it's washing, isn't it? It's washing. Let's call it what it is.
Laundering going on. There's definitely something going on here that I'm not sure if the truth will ever fully emerge. But this is not the first example. This is the latest of many examples of massive payments for players on massive money, where these players don't spend more than like 20% of their contract out in Saudi before they're sent back into Europe. Not necessarily in the direction that they came from, but somewhere else, that somewhere down the line, there's some sort of back scratching going on. It feels like there's a lot of, as I said to you in the first answer, when it comes to Chelsea there and Emi Martinez, right? And Villa, they've got that history in the past, last summer, of doing things. It just feels like there's probably a lot of phone calls going on that are figuring out, like, oh, if you do this, then okay, well then you do that next time, and then it will, like, it's like kind of, you don't, like, person A robs person or does a business with, like a drug deal on the street or whatever. If you would go up to someone in the hood or in the projects or whatever, you give one guy the money, you get the package from another guy, so that like there's no such like it's not clear where the transactions are taking place. Like it feels to me like it's a little bit like that. That there's things that are going on that are all connected, but they're not directly attributable to clear and obvious rule breaking. And it feels like it's just a money transfer, a way to get money into and out of the European system through indirect means. It doesn't add up to me why people aren't connecting the dots here. But this is not the first. This is the latest in many examples of this sort of behaviour, and it's odd, really odd. But the fact is, mate, that as I say, for all intents and purposes, now we've been saying about this for a long time. It's not forget about Saudi for a second, but just like the ownership shenanigans, whereby you can't have two clubs owned by the same person directly or the same entity directly, but all you have to have is just a standard deviation from the norm. Like one person who owns one club can own a small part of another entity that does have a majority ownership in another club, and that seems to be okay. It's ridiculous, and it can't be just through ineptitude. It must be by design, because this game it's too big. There's too much money. And for these things to be happening in everywhere you look, every day there's another scandal. But and then you get to the point where when the Premier League owners get together and have the opportunity to stop these things happening, they don't. To me, it just seems like most teams are complicit in it. There's another story here, by the way, for you, mate.
Can I just interrupt?
Yes,
Sorry, just 1 second. With the fake numbers as usual, right? Duran cost 65 million. I said over 75 million. It's actually 77 million euros. Okay. And Højlund was over 70 million euros. So, I mean, if you're going to quote currencies and stuff, I can quote currencies in future. I'll quote everything for you in pounds. And that will be easier. Okay. So sometimes I flip between euros and pounds. So apologies. But as far as bullshit's concerned, we're not going to be arguing over a few pound here.
Oh, he's gone again. He's done it again. The projects, yeah. I don't know where the word projects came from. I did spend a couple of years in New York, mate. So I spent a little bit of time hanging around those areas, if you know what I mean. But there's another story out here, which is, I mean, this isn't particularly corruption related, but surely I'm not sure if certain areas of French football, certain other clubs will be enjoying this particular story. He's back again. They're coming to get you, Johnny. They're coming to get you.
Trying to get me to take me away.
So we spoke about Lyon getting relegated to Ligue 2, right? And they've already been relegated. Now that is pending an appeal. But Lyon's financial issues are apparently being settled by Bradley Barcola, the transfer that took place from Lyon to PSG. Well, PSG are helping Lyon out by giving them the money early that they didn't have to do contractually, right? And so if you actually read this story here, it was only a matter of months ago that Paris Saint-Germain were on bad terms with Olympique Lyonnais. However, they are now offering a helping hand following the DNCG's decision to relegate Lyon to Ligue 2. John Textor's frequent outbursts and claims of competing against the state in reference to PSG and their Qatari owners saw relations between the two clubs sour. Al Khalifi and Textor notably came to loggerheads in a leaked Zoom call last season, during which the latter called the former a cowboy from I don't even know where. Adding that the American does not know how to run a club. Maybe he's right. He
ain't wrong. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. There has since been a rapprochement between the two clubs, as evidenced by PSG's latest gesture. Lyon have been relegated to Ligue 2 by the DNCG. That decision is being appealed, with Olympique Lyonnais now seeking to provide evidence of their financial stability. PSG have offered a helping hand. Le Parisien bought Bradley Barcola from Les Gons in 2023 for a fee of 50 million euros. Rather than continuing to pay off the transfer in installments lasting numerous seasons, what remains to be paid will be paid immediately, as reported by France Info and confirmed by RMC.
Lovely story that, and I think it's a great gesture, especially with everything that's going on. The cynical are saying, well, they're only doing it for their own means because they know without Lyon in the league, it's going to be very difficult to get TV deals. Personally, I think that's a bit harsh, but I think it's a great gesture. We read so many bad stories about rivalry between the clubs, people not paying fees, delaying fees.
How do you feel though if you're, I don't know, like the team in Ligue 2 that would have been promoted as a consequence? How do you feel if you're the owner of Metz or Lens or Marseille or Strasbourg?
I just think, listen, I think it's a gesture, and they owe them the money. It's not like they're giving them money that they don't own. Morning, James. I just think that it's a good thing to do, and it's not enough of what we see. We don't see this often enough, Sean, gestures like this, and I think it's to be applauded. I mean, PSG get a bit of a short shrift with all the stuff, dominating French football. And let's be honest, without Lyon, it's going to dominate even more.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to make a terrible difference, but French football is struggling massively. Without a TV deal, they're not generating any money. And as we see right now, they're being pillaged throughout Europe. Everyone's coming and buying the best players in France because they're reasonable, not cheap, but reasonable in relation to, say, players coming from Spain or Germany, or definitely from England. So,
interesting point you make, Johnny. I wouldn't say it's entirely the same, but it's quite reminiscent. I don't know if you remember this story, but Apple, the computer company, the phone company, back in like the 90s, I think it was, or maybe like very early 2000s, they were almost bust. They run out of money, and you'd think the last person that would come in to help them would be their number one threat in the duopoly, right? But Microsoft and Bill Gates came in and gave them something like $500 million, I think it was, or 300. I'm not sure the specifics. Don't quote me, but look the story up. It's fascinating. And Bill Gates was later asked, why did he do it? He said, because competition is good. Monopolies equals laziness. And it was the right thing to do. And in the end of the day, they both helped. They scratched their back then. Apple then helped Microsoft out later on as a gesture of gratitude. And you zoom forward 20 years, and now both companies are valued at multiple trillions of dollars.
They sit alongside each other, both successful, and I think this is a great gesture. As I said before, we see so many shitty football stories. It's good to see a positive one. Talking of positive stories, while we're in France, the emotional breakdown by Paul Pogba as he was signing his Monaco contract.
That's quite nice as well, wasn't it? It's quite good to see.
Yeah, it was good to see how he will go about getting his career back on track. Is going to be interesting to see.
Seems like he feels like he owes a debt of gratitude to Monaco, and hopefully you'll see the best version of him, because he's obviously a busted flush, but or he was, but all the talent in the world, right? All the talent in the world.
It's not about the money. It's not about the money, because it was about the money would have accepted the Saudi deal. Interesting though, because we've been talking about Monaco, just basically sucking in everybody they can get their hands on, and they look like it's a failures 11 or a troubled 11.
Yeah,
they're up front at the moment. Their strike force is Anthony Martial, Ansu Fati, Paul Pogba, and Minamino, right?
Yeah.
And Anana's
all of them were wonder kids at one point.
All of them were, yeah. And Anana's coming in as well. It's like a rehabilitation centre now for footballers. Footballers have fallen on hard times. I mean, listen, be great. It'd be absolutely great if they, if they find their feet again, and actually Monaco have a really good season. Love to see it.
Yeah.
But that was a nice story coming out of France anyway.
100%. Before we move on to the next story, guys, we've been going for half an hour. There's 460 people in the house. Amazing numbers once again. Absolutely sensational. Thank you so much for your attention. If you could just smash the like button for us. I think James said it a minute ago. There's when there was 409 people, there's only 80 likes. That number could be up to 150, 200 if you guys were really on your point. And we'd love to love all that thing. It really does help. So please do that. Smash the subscribe if you haven't already. And we will.
By the way, Yelladine, that I was reading that off, and that is to do with the fact that they're linked with him. with Martial, the same as linked with Onana. So whilst they're not always there,
it's a potential front four next year, whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay.
What have we? Where are we going next? This one, John. I wanted to ask you guys about. I want to ask you, mate, about this story. Where is it? I've done the Tyler Dibling one. Hang on, scrolling down, get my list. Notes. Hang on. So Nottingham Forest are back in, mate. Nottingham Forest are coming in for another little Alatata. Nottingham Forest have made a £5 million bid for Real Mallorca's Spanish fullback Pablo Maffeo. I haven't done it. I don't know too much about this guy, but from looking him up and watching a couple of clips earlier, YouTube clips, so it's his highlight reel. But he does look like the sort of person that could really suit that sort of Nuno system. If he's coming in to replace Aino, is it, who's on a free transfer and possibly leaving? Aino.
Well, we haven't heard much about him, to be honest with you. We all thought that he was going to be. There would be quite a few people in for him. I mean, he's only 28. I mean, the way people are talking, I wouldn't buy him on his contract. Maybe because he's looking for a 5-year contract, and that's difficult at 28 years of age. Maybe he's looking a little bit more realistic, 3 to 4 year contract. But I'm sure someone will pick him up, or he'll stay there and sign a new contract with Forest. Listen, he was very effective for them last season, right?
Foxy, mate, a man, come of the hour, come of the man. Tell me all that you know. I'm sure you know about this guy. Real Mallorca's fullback Pablo Maffeo. Is he coming into Nottingham Forest to replace Aino? Is he a right? I think he's a right back from what I saw. I'm sure you know all about him. I'm sure you know he came through the Mets under 17s or something, and he played a couple of years out in Turkey. I'm sure you're going to drop us some truth bombs on this band in a little minute. Just next story for you, mate. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This guy haunts me. He haunts me.
Oh, my God. He's haunting Everton. He's
left Everton. He's got left on a free transfer. If
19 years.
White Hart Lane, mate, I am fully fledged Levy out. 100%. What are we doing here? He can't come to Tottenham, surely.
Honestly, stick to your fashion and your fashion faux pas, right? Honestly, don't come here. 19 years at Everton, great servant, promised so much, is it on the verge of England and all the rest of it, but no, unfortunately, no. And as you say, I think that it will go into it will be all over. It would be meltdown, absolute meltdown if Calvert-Lewin comes in. Guaranteed to play 3 or 4 games a year. Always, this is honestly terrible.
The Maffeo is always a shithouse to Vinny Jr. Is he? That's good to know. There you go. I like a shithouser, mate. A shithouser in the Premier League's always good.
We go perfect at Nottingham Forest. Definitely with Yates. He's one of the biggest shithousers in the Premier League, is Yates.
Yeah.
Burnley. Let's talk about Burnley, because Burnley have quietly been doing quite a bit of business. So they've announced the signing of goalkeeper Max Weiss from Karlsruhe. The newly Karlsruhe.
Listen, chat.
Your fancy accent.
Listen, we know that Sean and Johnny both struggle with some of these player names occasionally. Johnny gets a couple a little more difficult than I do. I didn't line him up to bring up the hardest name of the day. Johnny's got to say it. One more time. What's that team?
Okay. Max Weiss. Max Weiss. From Karlsruhe.
Karlsruhe.
Okay.
Where are they in Germany or Holland? Where are they?
I presume they must be. It's the German.
The German.
It's okay. German under 21 international.
Okay. Well,
I have not seen his papers. Have you seen his
stats though? Is he any good?
Well, he's a German under 21 international, and he signed on a 4-year deal. They've also agreed to sign. I've got another one, Takiona from Lazio, right?
Okay.
They've agreed a £12 million deal to sign the winger. His name is Luam Takiona, right? The Italian.
I'm surprised they bought him, but I thought maybe they could tack him on a loaner.
The Italian club have negotiated a 10% sell-on clause included in the 12 million. Burnley expected to sort the final details out for the 21-year-old's personal terms once he's finished representing France, right, which he has now, because he was in the under-21s internationals. So that's another one. And as if that wasn't enough, they have also looked like they've signed. I mean, honestly, these names, you ain't going to believe this one.
Go on.
His name is...
Get ready, guys. Get ready.
I can't even say it. Quillindishi Hartman. I'll tell you how he spell his first name, right? Quilindschy.
Oh, yeah. Quillindeshi. Yeah. Quillindeshi. Yeah. Obviously.
23-year-old Dutch international. He's joining them on a 4-year contract, a fullback. So they are spending money, and obviously, you know, also they are on the verge of losing James Trafford. Again, Newcastle failed with 2 attempts so far to sign Trafford because they refused to pay the money. I saw Voltemada. He was fantastic last night. He's
a great player, mate. Also, was that goalkeeper you mentioned? Was he playing last night?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I'll have a look. But Walter, he looked like a giant playing with children. He went up at the end, and Harvey Elliott went to hug him, and he was like, it was that really. Honestly, he looked like
a belly button.
Honestly, it was a full-grown adult playing with a kid. It looked like
unbelievable stuff. I can't believe I'm just looking at the structure of that payment for Jamie Gittins, £55 million. The vast majority up front. Chelsea just don't seem to have any issues doing whatever they want. It's so wild, so very strange. A little bit of story here about Manchester United players. It's not a day goes by we can't talk about United. They are apparently where's my list gone? Here we go. Manchester United are going to have to. Here we go. May have to pay players to leave the club this summer because of their lengthy and lucrative contracts. Rashford and Garnacho are among those they want to sell, but are finding it hard due to big wages. We've been saying this for so long, mate. Part of the problem, all Tottenham, not to make this about Tottenham,
they're
but
not
all
the worst
fans,
ones. They're not the worst ones, though. Anthony, Casemiro, they're
Casemiro's
all
going to stay. It's official. Yeah. Casemiro's staying because he's going to run down his contract and go for a freebie. Yeah. Then probably pick up 400 grand a week in Saudi after that. That guy. Unbelievable. The gift that
you've got Anthony. Anthony's on huge wages.
Yeah.
Oyland's on huge wages. Xerxes not on small wages.
How long has Marcus Rashford got on his contract?
Sam, how long has he got? Not big wages, Garnacho, no. What's name's on big wages though? Anthony, Casemiro, Rashford, Højlund.
Rashford's contract expires. Oh, it says here his contract expires June the 30th, 2025. No chance. That can't be right.
What's that? No.
Oh, wrong. Contract expires June the 30th, 2028.
Yeah. Another 3 years, mate. He's going. United are going to be left funding Rashford for the remainder of his career, I think. Well, until that contract ends.
So, but if the story's out there, because there's another story that you sent me on the thing here saying that that Marcus Rashford is set to leave United, with Tottenham now getting a clear indication of a proposed deal. Any truth to that?
All I can think of is that somehow or other, Man United are willing to get him off the books, and Spurs are looking at a loan, some sort of loan deal where they're subsidising the wages. I can't see any other way. Look, he wants to play in the Champions League. He wants to play for Barcelona, but Barcelona got enough trouble trying to lodge Nico Williams and find the money, the 60 million that Athletic Bilbao want, and they're challenging the fact that they can even do the deal because they can't even register some of the players they've got. So I can't see that deal happening for them, and I can't see Spurs coughing up that sort of money for Marcus Rashford's wages. I think there's a lot of stories around, and one of the stories going around, which is, to be honest with you, the most legitimate probably, is the fact that Thomas Frank doesn't want to sign anybody, in essence, really, until he's seen the squad to see who he wants to get rid of. There's been an offer for Ashley Phillips for £6 million for Sheffield United, but Thomas Frank likes him and would like to keep him, or at least look at him before making any decision. And I think that's the reason why Spurs may not have gone and dipped into the market. But it doesn't stop you moving for top players. Let's be honest. What manager is going to say no to Eze or Mbuemo or Semenya? So,
well, there's a story that's literally breaking
as we speak.
Somewhat in the last couple of hours. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Liverpool's reasons for signing Mark Gahey as medical is booked amid a contract standoff. Gahey is closing on becoming Liverpool's next major signing during a busy summer. This is coming out of the Mirror. I haven't seen that anywhere else. I certainly haven't seen that from an Ornstein or anyone. Can you see Mark Gahey? I mean, I said this on a video I did yesterday on the Spurs talk show. And we've got to talk about Romero as well in a second. We've got to talk about Atletico Madrid. We're going to bring that stuff in. And there's also a couple of stories there's loads of things that are, because Marco Asensio apparently is also going to go.
Yeah.
He's going to be going back to PSG, but PSG apparently have offered him to Tottenham. So we're going to talk about that as well. We wanted to put the Tottenham stuff until the end of the show today, or the second half, because we spent a lot of time talking about Tottenham at the start of the front end yesterday. Let's talk a little bit about Mark Gahey first, though, mate. I said that if Tottenham sell Romero, right, and then all Tottenham fans are going to be frustrated if you go and get a Lukumi or one of these kind of Leonis, one of these kind of they're not unknown players, but if you follow Serie A, if you follow football across Europe and you're in touch with all that stuff, then you might be aware of it. But the average football fan is going to be annoyed that if you sell Romero for 70 or 60 million quid, then they will expect Tottenham to replace him with Mark Gahey. But Mark Gahey is not going to come to Tottenham this summer. If he does leave, he'll go to Liverpool or Newcastle. And certainly if he doesn't leave Palace, he's only staying there because he'll run his contract down. And therefore, he's doing that to get a big bumper pay packet next season, of which Tottenham wouldn't pay anyway. So on that basis, I was like, Romero, if he leaves, Tottenham are not going to get Gahey, but we'll find out if he goes to Liverpool. Turns out today, apparently, it's very, very close, right? Very close.
Look, Atletico Madrid have got money if they want it, right? I've listened to these stories. We are the sugar daddies for European football. It's the same story all the time. You go there and you ask for any player, Carlos Kickable, doesn't matter who he is, doesn't matter if he scored one goal in 20 games, the up-and-coming kid, 50 million, 60 million, 70 million. As soon as you got a player that they want, we don't have any money, we can't afford this, we can't afford the wages, it's done. If you can't afford it, you can't get off the pot. You paid 80 million for Alvarez. If you want Romero, pay the money. Pay the money. I don't think, I see rumours today that Spurs, again, willing to sell for 45 million. I don't believe that for a second. I think we're looking at 60, 70 million. Daniel Levy's not one to miss the market signs, and the signs are all over the market. He's 27, he's in his prime. Okay. You don't sell him for less than 70 million. Did you
see that story yesterday that Madrid are saying that they're going to spend 200 million euros more? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that one. But let's see. Put your money up, and let's see what happens.
Does it make sense to you that the story is that they've already signed 3 players, including Cardoso, and then they want Romero? El Cholo, Diego Simeone, has been on the phone to him every day. This is the sort of dot connector here, telling Romero via his agent or via whoever, because it's not him. He's not, gifted in English enough to be able to create just a sentence of normal English, let alone inferences and thinly veiled digs and all that stuff. So all of that stuff is by design to try to get Tottenham to just lower the price, right? But if the story is true that Atletico Madrid have got 200 million euros still to throw around this summer, and when you look at the links that they're linked to, not just at at the back end in Romero, but at the top end of the pitch as well. They've got ambitions this summer to try to catch up again with Real Madrid and Barca. Then, as this story as the summer goes on, do you see that Romero might end up leaving, but late on in the window?
Well, he could do that, but look, this cannot affect Spurs, right? If he's going to go, there's the price. Put up or shut up, okay? And if he's gone, then he's gone, okay? The trouble Spurs are going to have is finding a top centre back that's just going to roll in and fit into the system. It's going to take a while. So does that mean, you know, we're going to be starting the season with Kevin Danso and Mickey van der Ven? Who knows? Who knows? But I can't see Gahey leaving right now unless he's guaranteed first team football. Konate's refusing to sign a contract. He's got 1 year left. Same as Gahey, 1 year left. Both playing their teams, both playing their clubs to try and get more money or work to get a deal. Both players can go to January and sign pre-contract. So I unless something happens with Konate, I can't see Gahey coming. They're going to have to pay out the money, and I can't see Gahey leaving until the summer because of the amount of money that's on offer. But for all the money that they have spent this summer,
they're recouping quite a lot as well.
Yeah, they are. But do you not think that they're just a bit threadbare centre back in the centre back area? I mean, an injury to Van Dijk or to Konate.
Well, that's why I think that Mark Gahey makes sense now. And according to this story, that
they might want him.
The medical's been booked.
Yeah, well, listen, if it is, he's going to go there over anywhere else. But my point is, the contract would have to be spectacular for him to forsake going on a freebie in the summer and getting a massive signing on fee and a massive wage. And don't forget the agent getting a massive bonus. So it's going to have to be a spectacular contract, Sean, to get him there. It really will be. I always thought go on.
Oh, I was going to say quickly, Atletico Madrid. So one of these stories just from Fabrizio Romano, I think it was this morning or midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Madrid have prepared all the documents for Atletico. This is for Matteo Ruggieri, who's leaving Atalanta for 20 million euros. So it just looks like we said this at the start. We said it every show, mate, that these teams look at the Premier League clubs and treat them like they're some 18-year-old model from OnlyFans, and that we're some 50-year-old wealthy geezer who ain't got a chance. You know, I'm not gonna give you a kiss. I'm not gonna give you a cuddle. No, you buy me a nice bag, and I'll think about holding your hand. How about that? You know, whereas they treat teams in Italy and vice versa with respect and mutual kind of negotiations. The valuations are always reasonable. When it comes to Premier League, no, we're not paying you shit because you're rich anyway, and we expect to get your handoffs for pennies in the pound. It's outrageous, mate. It drives me up the wall. Just quickly, Foxy, I thought you were a Tottenham fan, mate, but you're not, are you?
No,
you're a Newcastle fan.
Newcastle, yeah.
Ah, there you go. I didn't realise that. Welcome.
Hincapié's my favourite left-sided centre-back stroke left-back, if it was getting anybody. Brighton is apparently close to completing the signing of young goalkeeper Niels Ramming from Eintracht Frankfurt. Got no idea who he is.
Ramming? Don't know.
Yeah, he does a lot of it, apparently. And he's coming in from Eintracht Frankfurt. And Newcastle have signed Glasgow Rangers, a really top kid called Alfie Hutchinson. That's the only ones that I've got there that have come through. We've got Gittins. We've done that one, haven't we? Who else have we got to come through? We got the Paris Saint-Germain story. Just trying to see who else we've got. What else have we got?
I've got a few more stories, but hang on. I was trying to get to the bottom of my notes here. This AC Milan have reached agreement for this the nicest, the smoothest number 6, mate, that I've seen play football. Think Andrea Pirlo, but a reincarnation in Samuel Ritchie. I would have loved to have him to come to Tottenham. He's a CAA base player as well, mate. You know, and so I don't know why Tottenham didn't get in there. 25 million quid, and this guy's now going to Milan, which surely must mean, on the basis of that your boy Arden Jashwari unless AC Milan are going to just completely transform their midfield, they were looking at Granit Xhaka, Arden Jashawi, and Samuel Ritchie.
Well, Felix is
All
going.
of them are sixes/8. Now they
well, I wouldn't say
Jashawi will come somewhere else.
Well, Jashari is more an 8, than a 6. But Yao Felix they're trying to get. He's leaving, isn't he? AC Milan.
Yeah, where's he going to go? Who's going to take him on next?
I got no idea, mate. He's like a he's like a bad smell. He turns up at a club, 25 years of age. He seems to have been around for everywhere for ages and ages and ages. A huge fee Atletico Madrid paid for him. And yet he just doesn't seem to hit the ground running at any club. There's undoubted talent.
Do you think is there any chance at all? Is there any chance at all that Yusuf Fofana, like if they are going to sign Granit Xhaka and Samuel Ritchie or Arden Jashawi, is there any chance at all that Yusuf Fofana would leave AC Milan this summer? And if so, do you think he could end up in the Premier League? He's such a great player, but I don't know if AC Milan are looking at all three of those. And according to Romero, all three of them are close. So just because they sign one doesn't mean that the other two aren't happening, but they can't surely have space for all of them.
We don't know right now what the financial state is of teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan at the moment. And so, it's a hard one to call. Jashari, I'm absolutely stunned that no one in the Premier League has come in after him. I mean, the fee they're asking for is hefty. I mean, they've asked Milan for 40 million euros, but I think they'll end up getting maybe something around 35 maybe. But again, a top player, if you don't know who he is, then you should go and check him out because he's a proper player. Do you think Milan, after a terrible season really for them, AC, that they might just try to rebalance the entire squad? I mean, that seems to be what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but if you go through these monster transitions all in one go, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, so sometimes they work, but very, very rarely they do, right? So, like, you're going to have a bedding in period. I think the AC Milan fans are just too impatient for that. I'd be surprised if you were to completely overhaul your whole midfield if it didn't have some teething problems in the first year. But as I say, if Yusuf Fofana becomes available, I'm all over it all day long. I think he's a cracking player. Is there any stories about Douglas Luiz, Matt? This is the story that I'm wondering. Because we talk a lot about the amount of players that are leaving Juventus potentially, right?
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, where are the stories with regards to Douglas Luiz? Because he is, I mean, first and foremost, I've just typed in Douglas Luiz, went to the news tab. I think I spoke about this yesterday on my video. Tottenham have been linked with Aston Villa midfielder Jacob Ramsey, right?
Correct.
West Ham and Tottenham apparently were looking at him. And then the West Ham owner's spokesman, a spokesman for Sullivan, David Sullivan, apparently said when he was pressed, is there any truth to him coming to West Ham? He went, no, I've heard he's signing for Tottenham. And so I did a video on that going like, I don't know if Jacob Ramsey, Jacob Ramsey's like he's a left midfielder. He's not a left winger in my mind. He's like a left side of a pivot because he suits that side. But I'm just not sure, like, of an 8. He's a weird position for a player that doesn't really suit our kind of system. And at 40 million quid, there's so many reasons why I think he's a very good player on his day. Doesn't play enough minutes for me, but he's not up the top of the pecking order in Villa's midfield because Villa's midfield is far better than ours. He probably does come in with a rejig and become a competitive starter. However, for me, the complications are £40 million for a non-priority position. Don't agree with it. 2, you're helping Villa out of a jam, so I don't really want it. And 3, what I think would happen there, because that guy is pure profit because he came through Aston Villa's youth system, you'd pay them 40.
Doug Luiz,
you'd be able to spin that into 110 million and then go and get Douglas Luiz.
He didn't. Douglas Luiz came through Man City's youth system.
No, I'm talking about Jacob Ramsey.
Oh yeah, so Jacob, yeah, sorry, yeah. Sorry.
So Jacob Ramsey would be if you paid £40 million for Jacob Ramsey, And I was like, and what would Aston Villa do to replace him? They're just going to go and get Douglas Luiz back. And I just typed in Douglas Luiz's name into Twitter, gone to the news tab, and all of the teams that you could imagine are probably looking at Douglas Luiz: Manchester United, Leeds, Aston Villa. Where's Tottenham, mate? Where's Tottenham links to the player? He's the perfect player for what Tottenham need, isn't he? Absolutely perfect.
Well, I think he's good for all sorts of clubs, to be honest with you. Foxy says he can't see Fofana leaving Milan. It will be Musa, who has been linked with Forest the other day. I like Musa. Another really good player I really like. I think Forest at the moment are playing the game where they're linked with various players in the same position, obviously playing one club off against each other. But they obviously mean business this year, definitely. I mean, that's for sure. And he also said that Ramming, the Brighton goalkeeper, was actually born in England, start with Orient. He's only been playing with the Frankfurt first team, so more one for the future. But we know what Brighton are like. They'll pull out another one out of the bag, and he'll be ramming home the coffers within a couple of years.
Yeah. Any other stories coming out of Tottenham today, mate? Not a hell of a lot, is there? But Harvey Elliott and Jacob Ramsey are the stories of the day. But I don't really. I mean, I like them both, but I just don't see the fit for me personally. And I think they're pretty much done with regards the rest of the
I think Leeds
includes as well.
I think Leeds look like they're trying to sort out their centre backs. They look like they're getting a couple of centre backs in to try and make themselves solid. We know that they'll probably be looking to splash the cash in the midfield as well. But it is quite quiet. Let's be honest. But as we said before, Sean and I, the tax year of a lot of these clubs starts again on July the 1st, so they can put this onto the next tax year if they've spent too much in the previous. So I expect to see a lot of deals done. I mean, it's amazing how many, Liverpool and Man City, and to a certain extent Arsenal have done. And Chelsea, whilst a lot of other clubs have really sort of stood still. Man United going as earliest, probably of them all, with Cunha. Breaking news, Bomber, PS, what's this? Tumbleweed. Yeah, Tumbleweed drifting through the Spurs training ground. No one signing there. Guys, if you're in the chat now and you haven't hit the like button, please hit that like button, hit like and subscribe. All of that helps us with the algorithm. It's been a quiet day.
One story for us, mate. There's one more story. This is a player that Tottenham were linked with a little while ago. Sunderland is said to be closing in on the signature of Atletico Madrid star Reinildo. His name's Reinildo Isnard Mandava, but he goes by the name of Reinildo. He's a left back. He's been linked with Leeds and Crystal Palace this summer as well, according to reports. He's 31 years old, right? I remember because the Tottenham were linked with him as one of the options to make our fourth fullback. This was about 2 weeks ago I saw it. And I was like, he's incredibly balanced. He's a really, really top draw defender. Like, he gets into that pocket and
you don't add a 31.
It's not to Tottenham, but if you're a team like Leeds United or Sunderland that are coming up and need a little bit of steel, I think he was the guy. If you remember, he was the guy when he was playing in France before. I forget where he was playing. It was either at Metz or at Lens or something. I think it was Lens. He you might have seen the video of there was a game where he's dived on the floor to try to stop someone having a crack. And then he like as the guy goes to take a shoot, he's on the floor like a worm and he's wriggling along and tries to put his head. So as the guy smacks the ball with his foot, the ball's here, the guy's foot, and he goes straight into his head. But in so doing, he stopped a sure goal that would have, I don't know, had some major outcome around the. I think it was the Ligue 1 title when Lens won it a few years ago, or whatever it was. And then he went to Atletico Madrid and he's just lit up La Liga. Over the last couple of years, but he's now getting the tail end of his career. Yeah, it'd be interesting sort of player to come into
There's a few of those. I mean, you look at someone like Moreno, and Lucas Digne. They're two sort of defenders who would definitely be a massive asset to someone like Leeds or Burnley or Sunderland, coming up. It's whether or not, they would sign for you if they had a relegation clause in there. They might sign for you for one season.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Smash the granny out of the like button. Come on, guys.
Guys, the numbers have been insane again. 630, 640 people here at peak for such a small channel, a growing channel. Just want to say massive thank you for your attention. We'll bring you an hour every day. And
can I just interrupt you there?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but a lot of people have pointed out over the time that on our screen here, we, for some reason, we had 11 at the top. 11 names at the top and 9 at the bottom. So all those OCD merchants out there, Sean has finally fixed it. And now we have 10 and 10. 10 at the bottom.
You know what it was, though? You know what it was? I didn't count, but I was working on the size of the logos. And if you look at the bottom, all of the ones at the bottom are all fairly wide logos because they're all circular, right? Whereas at the top, you've got like Forest and Tottenham's that are quite narrow. And so the actual line at the top, whilst it now has 10, they're actually bigger to fill the gap. So now the next OCD problem is going to be, can you make all the logos the same size, please? And in so doing, you're going to have to reshuffle them and get some of the circular logos up on the top and bring down one or two of
Oh, my God, there's going to be something. Ulrika Johnson.
Typical Tottenham fans.
Yeah, Ulrika Johnson, right? Arsenal needs a centre forward urgently, so they buy a goalkeeper, centre back, and 2 defensive midfielders. More needs to be made of this. Sean and I haven't stopped making a meal of this one because the one thing that
where's this one?
159. Arsenal needs to be made of the fact that Arsenal haven't signed a striker. We've spoken about it for such a long time that we feel that why haven't Arsenal, the one position they needed more than any other was a striker, and if they hang on for much longer, could we see Gyökeres actually going to Liverpool, or Man United, and then there is no choice between Gyökeres and Sesko.
It's interesting, man. As I said before, it's like I remember when I was in my 20s going down Clapham High Street with my mates, and we all went out trying to find a 9, and oftentimes we came home with a 6 who was well past her best, And I think that's what happened with Arsenal and old Norgard last week. We shall see, guys. Please do smash the granny out of the like button, smash the subscribe, and we will be back tomorrow with whatever's happened in the last 24 hours. Johnny, any final thoughts, Nick?
No, listen, it's the first, hopefully when the 1st of July comes round, everything is going to kick off. But I think we'll start to get more stories tomorrow coming in. And just quickly, did anyone watch the farce of the Chelsea-Benfica game? 1-0 down.
Yeah, what happened? I heard it was a 2-hour delay. What happened?
Yeah, 1-0 down, Benfica, and then there was a thunderstorm warning. They all had to come off. They were off for 2 hours. They came back. Benfica rejuvenated, scored a controversial penalty with Angel Di Maria, and took it into extra time. So then another 30 minutes, and Chelsea, they had a player sent off Benfica, and they just imploded. But I think the whole game was something like 5 hours.
Really?
Well,
typical American sport, then, right? A lot of breaks.
Yeah, Maresca went in on them big time. Like, what's the point of having a game in a country like this, a tournament in a country like this, if this is what you've got to do? I've never seen that before. Have you? Golf for 2 hours for weather?
No, but look, I've seen it on golf. I've seen golf games that are just as much about concentration, just as much about. You're not going to necessarily get an injury from the warm down, but there's obviously, look, it is what it is. If Maresca's having a crack at the Club World Cup organisers and he's blaming the weather, I'm not sure. They've got a lot of power, FIFA, but I'm not sure they can control the weather just yet. Maybe that's what government's up to.
Yeah, we've made a few mistakes today, guys. Where it's Sunday, right? Saturday's a heavy night. Okay, I got back late. Sean gets back late. Neil Jander says it's Lille, not long. Sean, it's like saying Arsenal, not Spurs.
Oh yeah, no. I did say I couldn't remember which team it was. I said, was it Lyon? Was it Lens? Was it Metz? I couldn't remember which team it was. The guy who played, Reinildo, yeah, whoever it was, that player who played, in that team. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. It's Sunday.
Yeah, we're human, guys. We make mistakes.
Loads of mistakes.
You're here to police us and tell us
keep us on our toes.
Hey, you can give us a compliment here and there, but many of you keep us on our toes, telling us where we've gone wrong, which is great. Sean, it's been a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So anyway, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from this guy. See you tomorrow.
See you guys.